Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lee and Chris podcast. My name is Lee. I'm here with my buddy Chris. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. And what are we talking about today?
We finally, after about, 2 hours of arguing.
2 hours of fighting about a bit that I didn't think was funny, but you thought was hilarious.
Yeah, and we're going to do it eventually.
We could probably we could do it now or we'll do it later.
No,
I don't know.
I don't want to do it now. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore now. What I do want to talk about now, though, is I want to talk about Jesse Ventura winning his very important case of a lifetime, winning $1.8 million.
King of the Ring.
Winning $1.8 million. What was the one where they used to have to climb the ladder to get the briefcase with money?
I know it's a barn burner there.
It was a ladder match.
Ladder match.
I think that was
what it's called.
Is that really what it was called?
Ladder match.
Wow.
Moron.
Okay, so Jesse Ventura won his ladder match of $1.8 million from the Chris Kyle estate.
And we're going to talk about how I hate these tearjerker, phony-ass, helping homeless people videos on YouTube, where they help these homeless people and not really help them, just kind of make a spectacle of them in such a way where they bring themselves up and make a video about how awesome they are while they kind of help a homeless dude. He got quick beer money in the end.
I also think it's interesting that they never show, like, the video 6 months after. Like, they never show the end result of the homeless person. It's always, like, the day they handed them the $100 bill. Yeah. It's not the 5 hours later when they're drunk on a fifth of vodka underneath a bridge somewhere.
That's when he would probably try to hit on the chick singer and rob the guitar player and the guy who was playing the bongos on his busket in front of all the people and passerby who started throwing in, what's German money?
The Grouples.
Hot dogs.
I call them Grouples.
Hot
There's
dogs,
a name for it, though.
Sausage, hamburger, coin, crunkles.
Crunkle. Yeah, it is.
Crunkles sound good for
it's
German money.
Something with a K. You're close. You're getting close to it.
Kroner? No.
That's Denmark.
Yeah.
It's Crunkle.
We are technologically not advanced.
Yeah.
At the
I could
Lee
do a
and Chris
Google search,
podcast.
but I'd be afraid to close Audacity.
Audacity is a fickle beast.
Now, I don't know. Could you associate like who are the people that do this? Is this the same person? Because I've seen these videos. I remember the most famous one we were talking about. It was the homeless man with the golden voice, who actually is probably the most successful case of one of these so-called videos.
To me, different story entirely, because the guy can actually do something, right?
He has a gift.
Yeah, he has a gift.
Talent,
no one gave him the golden voice. He had the golden voice, and he was going to go into radio, but his story was, he did drugs and alcohol, and I fucked myself up. And now I do the golden voice to get more drugs and alcohol. And then eventually he got a job. But the only reason why he got a job is because he had the golden voice to begin with. Now, in this video that I'm talking about, that it shows up on your Facebook feed by, the biggest sucker in your friends list. That, I cried when I saw this happen. It's just this guy sitting on the sidewalk with a cup of money and just basically sitting there, please give me money. And the guy comes up, takes the busket, and he starts drumming on it after he asks permission to get the busket to drum on it, but he doesn't tell him about the drumming anyways. So he starts, and people start watching because he's making noise and doing something somewhat entertaining, or maybe someone's walking by and they're stoned and they want to stare at something like that.
Monkeys can bang on things too, but you don't hand them $100 bills.
No, because monkeys can't make signs and look sad and say, please give me food because I'm in front of this big, gigantic cylinder that I lean on all day.
They do have in common, though, with the homeless is the flinging of the fecal matter.
They tend to keep it in their pants to act as a somewhat of a seat cushion.
Okay.
It's why some of them, they end up crazy and they walk up to you and they say, I shit pillows.
Yes.
But anyways, they start playing this song. More people join in, and as they're playing the song, the homeless dude, on the other hand, he's just staring at everyone like, what the fuck is going on? But people are starting to pour money into the cup.
Now, is this all a setup? Even the audience is
it may
is
or
that
may
fake
not
too?
have been.
Because I've seen a lot of things where they get other people to come up to them too. I bet you that was fake too, man.
Well, the giveaway would be, at the end of the video, all the people that were, drumming, playing guitar, and singing, it shows this end shot of them walking away, arm in arm, as great friends. And it's just, like, you're just making yourself look good, and fuck that dude. You're just using him as a stepping stool.
You're just trying to get some homeless sympathizer pussy at the end of the day. That's all it's about. That's all anything's about. Like these people protesting about the Gaza airstrikes or the hippies with the environment. You want one thing out of it. You don't give a shit about the environment.
And if you want proof or sources, just go to the comment section of those videos where you'll see the people talking about how they cried when they saw it. Like, I saw it, and I just saw it as the most passive-aggressive way of telling the dude
that you're better.
If you want to fucking sit and ask for money, you have to do something for people to give you the money.
Yeah.
In short, get a fucking job.
It's really reducing. You could become a YouTube star now for literally being homeless. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good message for the kids.
I think you could get famous from YouTube. Maybe from the follow-up, with the popularity of television train wrecks.
If you did them like if something actually fucking came from it. But like I said, how many of these actually have follow-up videos? They can't make the follow-up video because the guy's dead in an underpass somewhere, or fucking frozen to like a fucking puddle of his own piss.
They give the guy an apartment, and 1 month later it's a crack house.
Yeah, exactly. Or like he's dead in there, and there's like hookers all over the place.
It's just getting. This whole recording is getting so sad and heavy. Let's talk about something.
Let's talk about something that's happy and not sad.
Because there's a veterinarian
who, let's see here. Let me punch it up real quick.
What did he do?
Here's a lesson not to do. Veterinarian loses license after sex with dog and horse. If there was ever a case for never leaving America, I think this would be the one. He's an English vet. And he's been banned from the profession after videos emerged of him having sex with a dog and a hearse. Oliver...
And where was he doing this? Where did they
find
out?
Let me read it. Oliver Lone, 28, pleaded guilty to criminal charges relating to the videos in 2012, according to the Mirror. He was placed on a conditional discharge from practicing veterinary medicine at the time, but the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons has now totally removed him from the Registry of Veterinary Surgeons. So don't worry, if you're taking your dog to the vet in England, it will not get fucked by this guy.
Or at least it won't get fucked by him, maybe his friends.
It's going to get fucked by something. The committee has no doubt that the conduct was of the utmost seriousness. Professor blah 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 blah, chair of the RCVS disciplinary committee, said the material found in his possession and his own conduct involved the abuse of animals and a total lack of respect for their welfare. Respect? I think he was very concerned about their welfare.
It might have been a special form of examination that he was trying. Like, as far as medicine is concerned, the biggest discoveries were made by the trailblazers.
Exactly.
This one guy, I forget his name, but he was a complete opiate addict. He invented most of the main things that we use in basic human surgery today.
Yeah. And if you're going to call this guy anything, I think he's a trailblazer.
Definitely.
The videos, which were filmed in 2009, depicted Lowe having sex with a horse in a stable setting and a dog in a house setting.
Now, if you mix those up, I think that might be like a completely different crime.
I could see why people would get upset if, like, he had sex with a horse in a house setting.
Oh.
Come on, that's unacceptable.
The shit everywhere and the smell and the neighing.
And dogs don't belong in stables. They don't belong in stables.
No.
They can get stepped on by the horse. That's just cruel.
It is.
So he's fired, and if you live in England, your poochies and kitties are safe.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, for the time being. Switching to next story.
Yes.
Segue. Okay, now we understand that story was more depressing than the previous one. So here's a real great one to get you in a good mood or whatever. Jury awards Jesse Ventura $1.8 million in defamation case against deceased American Chris Kyle's estate. Now, for those of you who don't know, Chris Kyle was I believe a Navy SEAL sniper who served in Iraq. I watched the interview with him, and I remember when the initial story came out, when he said the big deal was Chris Kyle said that he punched Jesse. I don't know if you remember this, dude. He punched Jesse Ventura in a SEAL bar because Jesse Ventura was bad-mouthing. I think what Chris Kyle said was the war, Bush, and the troops.
The thing is, like, I get it was a SEAL bar, but I don't think the governor would be talking like that in front of a bunch of fucking SEALs.
No.
Because, I mean...
Even if he thought that way.
Even if you're just in the Army, you're a patriot, most likely.
Yeah.
You know, you're not joining the Army just so you could be an activist 2 years later.
And you're not going to join the Army just so you could be a fucking asshole and talk bad about them either. I mean, come on. Even if you were unhappy with your experience, don't you think you'd have some respect for the guys that you served with, for just the amount of dedication it took to get to that point?
Yeah, it's usually after the fact. Like that one guy on YouTube, what was it? Marine throws the stars away. Look that up. The link probably be in the description.
The only guy who does that is John Kerry.
Eat the apple, fuck the core, or whatever. But yeah.
Well, did you come up with that just now? Eat the apple, fuck the core?
No, that's what he said before he threw his medals.
I was going to say, that should be our first T-shirt, trademark.
No, but that... Anyways, he joined up wholeheartedly to be in the Army, not to fucking throw his medals once he was done with his shit.
And Jesse Ventura, technically, he says he was a Navy SEAL, a SHIELD.
I've been a Navy SEAL.
Technically wasn't a Navy SEAL. He was, I don't know what they were called before, but he was in the group that would become the Navy SEALs before they were called that. So, I mean, he was in the service, and I guess he did serve in a Special Forces capacity.
UTD, that's what it was. Like underwater demolition
something like
team.
that, or like the frogmen they call them, or something.
Yeah.
It was something weird. But yeah, I kind of called bullshit from the very beginning. I never believed first. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Jesse Ventura. He's a 9/11 truther. You know, he did a conspiracy show.
One of the most poorly edited.
Yeah.
Made a joke of every conspiracy
while trying to be serious about it.
Trying to be very serious about it.
Too serious.
Dramatic.
Are you telling me?
The Coast Guard is following us.
Yeah, I'd follow you too, Jesse. But I called bullshit. I just didn't believe he would say that.
And it's not because either of us are major fans of Ventura. It's because Chris Kyle was selling a book.
He was selling a book, and I mean, come on, that's a pretty cool story if it's true. I mean, you know,
it wasn't in the book.
No, it was in the book.
Oh, it wasn't?
Yeah, that's why he was so pissed off about it, because it was written down, and he even said in an interview recently that he's going after HarperCollins next for printing it without fact checking.
Wow.
So he might be even getting more money from this. I mean, it's Jesse Ventura's lucky day. This is better than any ladder match he could do.
This is when we get old clips of Jesse the Body Ventura calling out whoever he's going in the ring with. I'm gonna have to post edit some space into this for some Ventura drops about him being a SEAL.
I've been a Navy SEAL.
Eagle domino theory is like if he won a case against a dead dude, he's totally gonna win the next one. Well, it's his estate, but I mean the guy's dead.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the thing about it was it was a 8-2 decision, and I guess most of the time these decisions they have to be unanimous, but the only way that they could be like this, I think, is if the other side agrees. So obviously they fucking had these guys dead to rights. And they also proved malice, because Jesse Ventura is a public figure, so these kind of defamation suits against public figures are extremely hard to prove in a court of law, because you're a public figure, you open yourself to all kind of criticism.
Now malice is, I'm a fucking retard, so what is malice?
Malice means an intent to defame. Like, he didn't just come up with a bullshit story, he was trying to hurt his reputation.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, that's not easy to do. That's not easy to prove when you're a public figure. So I think, as much as this is probably going to get, and it is, I've read the comments from a lot of these stories that I'm reading right now, and people are very upset. I'm not sure if this really helped his public image more, or I think if anything, it's good. It's because the narrative now, even though I think it's very untrue, is that he's taking, $1 million from an ex-Navy SEAL's wife.
And the insurance company is going to eat it up anyways.
Right, and that's where the money's truly coming from, is the insurance company for, I can't remember her name, but Mrs. Kyle, or Miss Kyle now, I guess.
But, I mean, besides all that, I mean, like we said, pro wrestling, Navy SEALs, he was the governor.
Yeah.
A fighter.
A SHIELD.
And conspiracy theory on True TV, also hosted by, Extreme Towing or whatever.
Yeah, they have the Towing, the Pawn Star show.
I mean, as far as his whole TV and celebrity appearance, he doesn't even live in the U.S. anymore. I don't think he really gives that much of a shit as far as, what haters are going to think about him.
No, he lives in Mexico. He's fine.
If people have stories that go against them, too, and sometimes they can't prove it, and he can, so fucking more power to him.
And it all came down to that they couldn't produce the witnesses for Chris Kyle were inconsistent, and that's what I'm reading, is that they couldn't really get the same story straight. So I honestly think that Kyle made up a story to make Jesse Ventura look bad, or I think more likely it was to sell a book, but I think a book about the deadliest, because it was called called Deadliest Sniper because I guess technically he had
He had a high kill
the
rate.
highest
Yeah.
kill ratio for any sniper in the Iraq War. I think I can't remember the number. It might have been 200. Or, it was something crazy. But I mean, I didn't like Chris Kyle. I mean, I respect what he did, and I guess he did what he had to do, and he did what he was asked to do. But you know, I don't know if I want a guy like that to have some feeling for. I mean, don't you think even if you were the hardest of soldiers? I mean, he talks about shooting a woman. I think the first person he shot in Iraq was a woman holding a baby, but she had like a bomb strapped to her. I mean, don't you think even she's gonna probably kill your guys, and you probably have to shoot her?
That's what you're trained to do. Like, I
yeah,
mean,
but don't you think you'd feel something?
No.
I don't know.
If you're suited to it, I mean, you take psychological tests, and I do agree with Alex Jones on this one particular subject because, I mean, if you're gonna have a trained killer,
yeah,
you want him to be a fucking sociopath. Well, not a sociopath, a psychopath. I mean, sociopaths don't really give too much of a shit about rules, and they don't do well in like a whole, what is it, like a company, a firm or whatever.
Right.
They're like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
They need more like a Michael from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Someone who's
he's just gonna get the job done.
Yeah, he could follow orders.
Yeah.
And, not
really
a loose
cannon.
Give that much of a shit.
Yeah, and I can understand in theater thinking that way, but don't you think like a couple years separated from it, and you have a family, and you have a wife, and you have I know you had a child. Regardless of how hard you are, I think it's gotta come out of you sometime.
Well,
that it hurt and that it bothers you.
Is that stat true? Where more soldiers from the latest Iraq and Afghanistan war died more from suicide than they did in the war?
They are now.
If that's true, then probably something to that.
Either way, it's a good day for Jesse Ventura, and if you like him, I guess you're happy with it, and if you hate him, I guess you still hate him and you're very unhappy with the decision. But I think in the end, as much as it's tough to see a widow of a Navy SEAL who has a child and probably a lot of debt and money issues.
There's going to be no shortage of people on her side.
Yeah.
And aren't the Army people, tight-knit community? She'll
they'll
probably be
help her
taken
out.
care of. But
And I tell you what, I think what a classy move would be to do. I mean, listen, he won his case. He proved Chris Kyle lied. Give the money back to her. And as a matter of fact, you wouldn't even you're taking it from her lawyers. And I'd actually give it to her and his kid. Like start a college fund for his kid or something like that. For Christ's sake, do something good with it.
he might have to do that to save face. I mean, even though he doesn't live in the country anymore, but
he already. The sad part is though, and this is the one thing I like Jesse Ventura, but I don't like what he said. He said he's going to take the money and pay his lawyers with it. That's what he said in an interview already. So he's not going to do something nice with the money.
Well, I mean, interviews and real life are two different things. I mean, he could always make a contract saying, just don't say anything. I gave you a couple $100,000.
I think it would be classy if he did that. And speaking of classy, we're out of here, guys. Stay classy. We'll see you next week. Take it easy.
Yep.